No Man's Sky has become a pretty involved game with plenty of places to explore and things to do. Certain things require you to gather supplies, some things require money, and others require nanite clusters. Maybe you're new to the game and you're wondering how you will get enough nanite clusters to upgrade your lowly Class C ship up to a Class S. Maybe you just need to know where to get some nanite clusters while you learn your way around the game. There are plenty of videos out there focusing on the best way to get nanite clusters, and of course focusing around a few options dependent on that person's preference. I don't like that approach, so instead I took my many hours of gameplay experience and thought about what options work best for the different stages of the game. The methods I am presenting today are current as of the cross-play update, but of course may change with future updates. So in the very beginning of the game, you're more focused on learning how to play, gathering supplies, and trying to unlock new buildable items. You do need nanite clusters at times, but not in the massive quantity you will require later in the game. So where do you find nanite clusters as a beginner player? Simple answer is, don't worry about that, just play the game. My reason for saying that is from my personal experience. Early game, I never really had a problem with having enough nanite clusters for the few things I needed them for at the very start. I had plenty of other things that were more of a priority. That being said, I think the easier ways to get them will be from searching damaged machinery, uploading your discoveries, giving data to Ares and Helios on the anomaly, and completing missions both on space stations and the anomaly. There are plenty of other ways that work in the beginning, such as refining items like residual goop, but for the few cases you need nanite clusters in early game, the other options will be sufficient. Moving on in the game and coming to the point where you might say is mid-game, you will find your need for nanites starting to increase a bit more. This will mainly be for purchasing more and more blueprints and upgrading your low-class ships a bit more. For this stage, I recommend looking at refining larval cores. This used to be the top recommended way, but with recent updates, a new, better method has come out for late game. I consider farming larval cores to be the mid-game method because it does require a few upgrades to make it work better. First, you will definitely want the terrain manipulator. Second, you will probably want to have a stronger weapon, though you can get around this, but it does slow the process down. The principal concept here is to harvest whispering eggs for the larval cores and then refine the cores to produce nanite clusters. One whispering egg will give you one larval core, which refines to produce 50 nanite clusters. Not a huge amount individually, but abandoned buildings will have several nests around them and each nest will contain multiple eggs. The catch is how to farm the eggs quickly. Once you break an egg, biological horrors will spawn and attack you, which I'm sure by this point in the game you've already encountered. So the trick used by many players to farm the eggs quickly is to dig the area underneath the nests and the abandoned building out. Despite appearing to emerge from the ground, horrors are not able to reach you if you dig the area out correctly. In addition to being safe from attack, the larval cores will drop down to you, making them easier to collect. So how do you find these abandoned buildings easily? The answer there is missions. Missions to destroy biological horrors or gather larval cores will give you an objective point for an abandoned building. The key difference is missions from the space stations will require fewer horrors to be destroyed than missions from the anomaly. Of course, anomaly missions will have better rewards, so it's your choice which one to use. Just remember to destroy enough biological horrors to complete the mission first before you collect all the eggs. Then you can just wait out the end of the swarm in your hidey holes. It is important to note you can also sell the larval cores for units, though I think there are better ways to earn money in the game. Speaking of money in the game, the next method does require you to have a good stream of income to make it as effective as possible. So if you are new to the game or just want to learn about the ways you can make money, I do have a video for you which starts with early game methods and works up to end game methods. So the end game nanite farming method is to simply buy and salvage ships Add a space station so you can sell the upgrade modules for nanite clusters, hence why money is important. Once you have set up a recurring source of income such as a mining site, you next need to find an appropriate star system for this method. There are two criteria I found to matter most for this. First, you want to find a blue star system because blue stars mean better ship drives and therefore a better class of ships. Second, you want to make sure the economy level of that system is prosperous, flourishing, or some similar adjective indicating they are doing really well. This is because better economy means more traders coming, which means more NPC pilots to deal with. And of course, you will need this star system to have a space station. Trade posts can only work for part of this method at the time this video is being made, so ignore them until a future update expands on what trade posts offer. So once you have picked out a blue star system with a flourishing economy and have landed in the docking bay of the space station, you have one more criteria. You must have an open spot for a ship in your collection. At this time, you can have up to 6 starships in your collection, so make sure you have no more than 5 while doing this so you will be able to buy passing ships. Now you just wait for NPC pilots to arrive so you can use the analysis visor to scan them and see what class they are and the cost. Obviously, higher class ships mean better upgrades, so you want to focus on Class A and some Class B ships. Essentially, the ship class determines the class of the upgrades you get from salvaging it. You can always salvage a Class S if you have one arrive, but in the many times I have done this, I've only encountered 2 Class S ships and I kept one for my collection. Next is the cost. The increase of cost does not correlate to a matching increase of nanite clusters. For example, a 10 million unit Class A ship will not yield 10 times the number of nanites a 1 million unit Class A ship yields. Considering you lose some money used to purchase the ship when salvaging, it's better to go for maximum value. From my experience in doing this over and over, the lower priced ships will be better. So simple rules are focus on Class A if available and buy the lower priced ships. I try to buy only if the cost is less than 5 million and definitely do not buy when the cost is over 10 million. You'll be buying more ships this way, but again, a 10-fold increase in price does not mean a 10-fold increase in nanite clusters. In the end, it is all about playing the way you like. Maybe buying and salvaging ships is too dull for you, so you prefer to just farm whispering eggs. That's perfectly fine. I am just simply presenting you with some of the more popular options for getting nanite clusters, what is involved with each method, and why I find them to fit to different stages of the game. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and most importantly, have fun in No Man's Sky.